Namaste, America. Well, I'm so glad that you were able to join me today. I am thrilled at that because I was thinking, well, everybody is probably going to be at a barbecue or something, which you should do. But, you know, I thought I'm going to have the show and welcome you and help you celebrate whatever you do. But first of all, before we do that, we do want to say hello to Amnon, our producer. Hi, Amnon.
Hello, Gisela. How are you?
I am good. I am good. I wanted to have a little flag here, but then I couldn't find it. So, what can I tell you? Things get lost at times. I think it was the flag gremlin that got it. Um, I have a great little show prepared for you, for all of your pet owners, what you must know and what you have to consider, for all young mothers with babies. I mean, really, we have to talk about this. And then the menace of the summer, poison ivy. So let's get right to it. If you have a question or a comment, please sign in. Amnon will tell you of how to sign in. You can also call in. I love your comments. I love your input. This is an interactive show. And, you know, I mean, take advantage. Not many shows where they that are live and you can call in. It's like the good old days. You can call in and say, this is what my opinion is, or I have this comment, or I have this question. Uh, please do. Amnon, how can they get in touch?
919-518-9773. Computers 2K voice on Skype.
Yeah. So you can also go to the chat room and just type something in. You don't have to give your real name. You don't have to do any of that. And listen, folks, whoever is listening out there, please give us a rating. There is a rating on the Nissan. You know, I've been doing this show for quite some time, and we do have a really nice rating. But once in a while, I like to feel your pulse and tell me, do you still like the format? Do you still like what I'm telling you? All right, let's get going. 4th of July, one of the happiest holidays in America. As you guys know, I came from Germany, and even though I came at a young age to the United States, like I was about 19 the first time I came, and I studied here in the United States, and then I went back, and then I came because I couldn't make up my mind which country I wanted to live in, right? But I finally did decide on America, and I'm so glad. And one of the reasons why I did decide on it, because the celebration of 4th of July. I love Thanksgiving and I love 4th of July. But there are a few things that I do not like about the 4th of July. And one of the things that I really don't like about the 4th of July is that if you live in a rural area and you have these personal fireworks, people celebrate and they have these personal fireworks. I have animals. I have a horse, I have chickens, I have cats and dogs. And some of my animals are fine with the fireworks, but not all. I have one dog that hides and runs and shakes, and even to the point of vomiting. Then he infects the other two, and then we often have mayhem. If, like last night, which was not even the 4th of July. Now, I understand the 4th of July and that goes away or so on. But, I don't know why we have to have, for our own selfish pleasure, these fireworks that are not contained, these personal ones. Now, I'm not talking about the displays, the big displays, even though they are pretty bad too, but they're usually not in an area that where there's a lot of wildlife, where there's a lot of animals. They're usually in a city or over a water or something like this, and they are done professionally, and you can't really get that close to the fireworks. I have been here at past years at fireworks. The fireworks were right there. I mean, they were over my head, okay, and they were so close. Uh, I saw tiny babies there. I saw dogs that were barking and crying and shivering. I saw babies that were really like every time one of these flares went up, and the ones I'm talking about that whistle like this, ee, boom, right? And every time that boom came, I saw this baby in her mother's arm go just, you know, and do we really have to do this for our own selfish reason to go to a firework like that? I mean, the, the most of the neighborhoods in America, most of the communities, most of the small cities, large cities, or whatever, they have a fireworks that is a display done by either professionals or by by people that seem to know, and over a large area that you can stay far enough away that this impact. I mean, I've been at fireworks where the reverberation of the when that really it's like a cannon. It's like the air gets displaced and you feel it. It like hits you. Not good, not good. I love fireworks. Tomorrow I'm going to be sitting by my television and watch the White House fireworks. I love fireworks, but stay away from it. Okay, and I'm going to have the tone turned down so much that my dogs then don't get all out of shape. Birds get so disoriented with that when people who do this, in their backyard and so on. And I know it's fun. I live here in Pennsylvania, and they have these fireworks stores. Now, Pennsylvanians are not allowed to buy fireworks, but the stores are in Pennsylvania. But then from all over, from New York, New Jersey, I mean, I've seen license plates there from Maine that come here and buy fireworks. Now, those are not professionals. These are all backyard firework displayers.
Gisela.
Not only. Yes, I'm not. Did you?
Debbie is online.
Oh, great. Hi, Debbie. I'll get to you in a second.
I'm just listening.
Okay. And here's what can happen. There was a firework display in I believe Iowa that went sideways and went into the crowd, injured a mother and a baby very badly, and I don't know how many scores of other things. I mean, they are a dangerous thing. And I just find that we need to curb our own selfish ideas of, yeah, well, I want to have this for my kids. Well, take them to a place where they can have it. Disneyland has every night fireworks. I mean, there are many places. They have fireworks all the time. So I really do believe that we should consider that for that fleeting moment of pleasure that we gain from that, seeing this cannon go up in the air, I don't know if it's worth it to get eardrum damage on pets and children, babies, on your own, on adults. I mean, after I've been to this closed firework there for like a half an hour, I couldn't hear anything. You can't tell me that that doesn't damage those fine little hairs in the ear that have to reverberate to give us the sound. So when you are tomorrow setting off these fireworks, please remember that it could cause damage. And I'm sure that you really would not like to do that. Nobody does that really intentionally unless they're totally insane, in my opinion. Now, babies, it is the same thing with babies. Many, I read a whole blog where mothers were saying, well, I've been taking my babies to fireworks and they seem to be fine. Well, they may be fine, but their ears could still be damaged. So if you must take your baby to a firework, or you have fireworks at home and the baby is right there, please put on some earmuffs or something on the baby so the sound is muffled. Don't let them just, even if they enjoy it. Some babies, yeah, they do enjoy it. And some are terrified. I mean, I know that when we moved here, we were at the river and camped because we wanted to see how the area was. And there was, from afternoon, like 1, 2 o'clock on, there were kids that were shooting off fireworks, these whistling ones, these low on the ground ones. And it disturbed my dog then and me so much that we had to leave. I just left. I said, I can't handle this, So loud noises like that are not really very good for us. On top of it, these fireworks can cause serious burns to animals, to the environment, and to yourself. The emergency rooms are filled on 4th of July with people with burns, with people with almost like a PTSD type, that they were disoriented because they were too close to the firework. And the vets' offices, they have special hours for 4th of July, believe it or not, many of them, because they know they have so many people bringing in animals that have, they get diarrhea, they vomit, they shake, they get aggressive. And many animals, they just bolt and run away. Now, if that is your pet and bolts and runs away and it doesn't have a tag on it, well, too bad, right? Not good. So I really think fireworks are groovy. They're cool. I enjoy them. Just the backyard ones, let's go. Many states have rules and regulations about it. We have here the regulation that you can only have low on the ground fireworks, nothing that shoots up in the air. Well, that apparently that news had not reached my neighbors last night. They did not know that. So let's welcome a very special guest and a friend, a homeopath that I admire and love, and I think she has many times inspired me. I've listened to her shows. She has her own show on the same network here, and let's welcome her, Debbie Brooks.
Hi, Giselle. I'm so thrilled to just be invited to tune in today and be with you, Gisela. I was listening to a past show and I found that you were just adorable. And that's why I touched base with you. And it's true about the 4th of July that really animals, pets, should be protected from very loud noises. They have extra sensory hearing, and they hear at decibels that we don't hear, and they're very sensitive to these kinds of noises. Of course, perhaps military dogs are trained to withstand them, but a lot of times they will end up with PTSD from it. I
Yeah.
mean, they're trained to sniff out bombs and be in a military situation where there is overhead noise and helicopters and whatnot. But typically, your neighborhood dog and cat, even a scaredy cat, and especially horses that get spooked from neighbors. If they're on the farm and a neighbor is doing their gun target, these horses are very sensitive. So what can we do? One thing is find a safe zone for them, and be sure that you are taking protective measures in that way. And I know that people can certainly look up things that they could do. On the internet is our eternal resource. So of course, preparation is the first thing, and taking action to protect your dog as your family member, as you would an infant or a child, from the firework, from their sensitivity to the sound, and perhaps even any kind of sparks. Hopefully you're not that close.
Yeah.
And the owner should also stay calm, because they're taking cues from the people around them.
From the owner, yes. Yes,
right.
Animals really sense us, and when we display some kind of nervousness and fear, even though we don't really show it that much outward, what we think, our animals really often sense that, and it's a very good point, very, very good point. When you're nervous about something, your animal will pick that up, and especially horses, but dogs and cats do the same. I know I have a bunch of them, and I know I've always lived with animals. But what can we do? I think one of the
other thing is we have to also remember that the sounds are completely unexpected, and so it may trigger something down the line for them that they will cause panic, anxiety, fear once that incident occurs. So we're going to talk. You're going to tell us stuff about what to do if something happened.
And also what you can do, what you can give them beforehand. I have found that giving a couple of doses of chamomile beforehand to a pet, or even some rescue remedy to keep them a little bit more calm, to keep them a little bit more even. It seems to help somewhat. It depends on the animal. If it is really freaking out, well, then not much will help, but except the dark corner and holding the pet and talking reassuringly to it. But if you give a dose of chamomile, I give a dose of 30C like an hour before, and then maybe just as the fireworks start, I will give it maybe another dose if I think it should be. And that often, like my horse is now impervious to it. She just was standing there last night and just eating, whereby in the past years, she was not. She was running up and down the hill and sort of like, oh my God, And
well, there's a an article on Scientific America. It's interesting that you say she was just eating, because on this page it explains that if you provide comforting treats for the dog and just give them
Yeah.
give them a little bit at a time while the
Yeah.
loud noises are occurring, that might soothe them.
That very good thought. Yes, very good. Often, I mean, many dogs, I don't know why, but many dogs like spaghetti. They really like spaghetti a lot, especially with
Uh-huh.
meat sauce.
There,
And
there's
even my
yeah.
cats who don't, yeah, who never eat people food, spaghetti, they'll nibble on.
I wonder what it
Yeah,
looks
what did
like when
you
they're
want to
eating
say?
it. What does it look like when dogs are eating spaghetti?
Oh my God, my white dog. Oh God, it's a mess. I mean, he has to get his whole face washed.
Do you have
Yeah,
tomato sauce on that spaghetti?
of course, of course.
Oh my gosh.
Hopefully with meat sauce, you know? Yeah,
Uh, okay.
it's it's
And
there.
they're suggesting chicken breast, special meat, salmon cookies, something new, and
Yeah,
little bits of nitrate-free hot dogs. And do you give your dog popcorn?
no,
That's what they're
no,
saying.
no.
Interesting.
I don't give them peanut butter either.
Mhm. And
No,
there's
my
another
dogs eat very
yeah.
simple.
There's another
They get,
suggestion that they highly recommend, and it reminds me of swaddling your baby. They suggest what's called an anxiety wrap.
yeah,
So I guess if you wrap them up tightly in like a comfort zone, like they're in a womb, that
yeah.
they might calm down. Have you heard of
Many
this?
pets do. Yes. Many pets do. And this comfort blanket that they sell, you can make yourself. You don't have to buy that. You can just use a comfort, or even just your arms. Just your
Uh-huh.
arms and hold if it's a small dog. If it's a large dog, they usually like to hide between your legs, you know, where they halfway under the couch and the head is
Yeah,
just between your legs.
under the
They
bed.
feel safer with that, you know? Yeah. Uh,
Yes.
it does work, but let me tell you, if an animal is high anyway, you know, many animals are very high anyway in temperament. Um, they just freak out, and you better have them tight and secure, because they will bolt and run until they are totally away from any sound, any
Yeah.
sound. And that can be very, very dangerous. First of all, the animal might not find his way home. Then many animals get lost, and the humane societies are inundated every year,
Uh-huh.
the second and third day after the 4th of July, because so many pets are lost, and they're picked up and they're brought to the humane society, um, to hopefully find their owner. If that happens to you, anybody out there, you know what to do, right? You don't call the Humane Society first. What you do is you post it on Facebook with a picture. Then you call the state police and alert them that your dog is missing with a good description. And then you call the Humane Society,
Mm-hmm.
because people will find it. My dog was found on from somebody on Facebook, found it, knew it, went on there. That's what the new age is. Facebook.
The new age is Facebook.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
for to find pets and animals. Yes. Every community, I think, has one of those pages that is for missing animals. Okay, but let me ask you, Debbie, what do you for homeopathy? What do you suggest for
Yeah.
burns?
Burns?
Yeah,
Well,
if
I
you get a burn from, yeah,
yeah, I could tell you a story um, just a couple of days ago, there was a gentleman who was working in the back of the kitchen and was asked, please take this very hot, heavy pan out of the oven. And
Hmm.
as he did, the whole thing of liquid gravy from the meat and everything dripped and ran down his leg. And this is a great big man, and he was even crying, from this kind of pain that he
Oh yeah.
sustained, burns with blisters. And he has not. I don't know if he's received it, but I put together a remedy of cantharis and
Yeah.
at cantharis and calendula.
Of
And
course.
yeah,
Yes.
so
Yeah.
typically, like my little grandson, he goes out, plays all day, gets in the sun, goes to the swimming pool, and comes back, and he's very fair. His skin is bright
Sunburn.
red.
Yeah.
So again, a little calendula, and maybe if it's pretty bad, some cantharis.
Yeah.
Or if you, we've had a lot of burns lately. Um, and this is, I suggest you never do this. We have a teapot, the kind that you just fill with water, and you just push the little lever on it, and it automatically heats up your water so you can make
Yeah.
tea.
I have one of those.
And, and I love it. It's the best thing since sliced toast, and you really,
It is.
it's very convenient because it turns off automatically. But for some reason, it was on the dining table, and he was sitting right next to it and touched it. Well, there's another person crying.
Yeah.
Immediately, calendula, and calms down, and it's okay. It's okay because you respond pretty quickly to the energy medicines, and also, I don't know whether it's just the child's belief system that his grandma is telling him, if you have this, you're going to be okay. And I do believe that words can heal as
Oh,
well.
power of suggestion is definitely a plus, in anything. I mean, Reiki is built on that. You put your hand on the injured area, and by the power of the person who is doing the Reiki, uh, the person finds relief. Uh, but I find that often, if it is a blister, let me tell you a story about burns. Now, here's the thing
Okay.
thing with firework burns. They are much worse than any other because most of even those little sparklers are made with a phosphorus compound, and what that drops, that sort of liquefies and drops down.
Yes.
And when that hits the skin, it can make such a deep burn
Yeah.
that nothing will be immediately. So, in case in a case like this, here's what worked and what worked for me. In the old days, I used to put my frying pan, store them in the oven. So one day I come home and oh, well, I'm going to make dinner, right? Turn on the oven. And all of a sudden, I had this smell in the house like burned rubber. And I said, oh my God, the frying pans, because the handle was rubbery and
Uh,
that was melting. Stupid me grabs into that to pull out the pan and has burned my hand. Now you can see my hand close up. There are no scars whatsoever. My hand was totally burned, totally blistered up high. My ex-husband was a doctor, and he came from a long shift, and he saw me sitting on the kitchen floor crying my head off, and because of the pain. And he looked at it and he said, well, put it in cold water, put ice on it. And he went upstairs to sleep.
Uh-huh.
And so I think, well, that was probably one of the reasons why I divorced him. But anyway, so I made some ice water and I put my hand in there. And while I had my hand in the ice water, it didn't hurt. But every time I took it out, it hurt even more. So then at that time, a friend of my husband, who was also a doctor, came and I opened the door and he said, "Oh, what's the matter?" Blah, blah. So, right? So what he did is he packed my hand in ice. He just packed it totally in ice. He went to the ice maker, took out he threw out the water, put it all in ice, put ice all around it, and he said, "You stay there for the next hour and a half at least. You
Wow.
will not move." And that's why I don't have any scars. And, you know, I mean, my hand is totally fine.
You know what? Have you ever heard that using the homeopathic principle of likes cures likes, that when you do get a burn, you actually take this part that was burned and you bring it close to the fire again?
Yes, I have heard of it. I have
Yeah,
not tried it,
I've tried
but
it.
I
Yeah.
have. And that's going to be difficult when you're out somewhere, you know?
Yeah.
Ice, we all have ice chest. We all have, don't put butter on it. Don't
Yeah.
put Vaseline on it. You can do that afterwards. Don't do any of that up first. When you have a bad burn, ice. Ice is the only thing that immediately does it. Um, if there's a lot of swelling or so on, maybe a dose of apis could be also, if there's a, if it gets to be really swollen, because some burns are like second degree, um, and they sometimes swell a lot. The hand will swell, or the body part will swell a lot. So apis might also be, but cantharis is always the go-to one. And then afterwards, when you take away the ice, then put Vaseline on it. Vaseline is a natural skin healer.
Hmm.
So one other thing is July. You know what in July is most prolific everywhere? Poison ivy.
Yes.
Everybody has poison ivy. I mean, poison ivy, I think poison ivy will eventually inherit the earth. It's everywhere and it's indestructible. I don't care how many times you spray, how many times you rip it out, they always come back. You find that too?
The poison ivy comes back.
Yeah.
You have to keep
No,
at
I
it
mean
every.
the plant.
The plant keeps coming back. Yeah, you have to keep working at it because it spreads,
Yeah.
unless you get the root. And there is a product that I use that's not a chemical, not a Monsanto product, but it's an iron sulfate, I believe.
Ah, yes.
Do you know about it?
No, I have heard about it. Yes. Now that you
Yeah.
mention it. Yeah.
Yeah, you can get it at the hardware store. It's a ferrum something, and
Uh-huh.
you can use that, and that actually does clear up the poison ivy if you get it, you spray it on there.
And it doesn't harm other plants?
Oh, I think whatever you're going to spray it on, it's going to get rid of it. So you have
Yeah.
to spray it just on the plant
Yeah.
you want to get rid of.
Yeah.
Um,
Well,
I'm still curious about whether, and I never think of using Vaseline for anything because it's a petroleum product, and so I kind of stay away from that. And I'm still curious about the use of butter, and it's an old wives' tale to use it. I'm not wives' tale. It's just an ancient practice that if you put oil, grease, or butter on, then it's going to seal the burn off from the air and keep it clean, so that you're not going to get it infected. But
right.
would you use that, or
That
would you
is
use something else like calendula tincture?
right. Right. but a tincture is often made with alcohol, and so that all my calendula that I have here is made with alcohol, and I would probably not put that on a burn. I'm considering making maybe a salve with it. But
Uh-huh.
here's what is with Vaseline. Don't disregard it just because it's made with petroleum.
Okay.
Petroleum is a humectant. It's a humectant.
Okay.
And what it does is it seals off the skin. Now, doctors on a fresh wound, on a fresh cut, like especially with plastic surgery, they put a petroleum Vaseline compound on there and keep it there for several days. It heals the skin because it is a humectant and it does not let any bacteria through. So Vaseline and
Uh-huh.
aspirin is something that everybody should have in their household.
Okay, so it keeps the skin moist and it
Yes,
seals it off.
yes.
And it retains the moisture, so
Attracts moisture. Yeah.
it attracts moisture.
Hmm.
Okay. So
At,
that
at,
is a
at, at
benefit.
did you say attack or attracts?
Attracts with an
Attract.
R.
Yeah, attracts.
Yeah. Well,
Uh-huh.
you know what? What do you want from me? I'm a foreigner.
It
So,
attracts, and so it's a topical application for the skin to keep it
yes,
hydrated, and that's the humectant.
that's right.
So
And it is often made with a lot of glycerin also, glycerin and petroleum jelly. And the
tell me what
glycerin
you think
is,
about aloe vera. A lot of people put aloe vera.
yeah, but it's a gel. That is an alcohol. All gels have an alcohol compound in it, not
Unless
the
it's a
regular alcohol that you have, but they have an alcohol compound in it. And if you put aloe vera gel, just if you use it from the plant,
yes,
if you have a leaf there and you
yes.
put that on, that's perfect. That's you're
And
golden then.
the
But
other
that
the other
you don't
thing that
always carry that with you.
the other thing that you you could use is honey,
Yeah,
because honey has natural antibiotic
absolutely.
properties, and it is used for healing all kinds of burns. I'm so glad that you invited me onto your show, Gisela. We're
Mm.
learning all sorts of things, not just homeopathy.
Well, see, that is what this show is about. I am a homeopath and I am an esthetician. I am also somewhat of a chemist. And so I understand what goes in and and I want people to know that there are options. Like, for instance, if you do get poison ivy and you get poison ivy bad, you always should have, if you live in an area where there is poison ivy, you always have to have roost tox, RHUS hyphen tox, TOX. If you have that in the house and you take, well, first of all, when you come in contact with poison ivy and you are near somewhere where you can wash the oil off right away, you're safe. But if you cannot do that, like I have a fisherman here that goes out and fishes, and he came back with his whole arm full of poison ivy. Well, he's a guy. So what does he do? He put Listerine on it,
Oh,
put
wow.
Clorox on it. They put, you know what? That's a good way to get a major infection. Don't do anything. Have a vial of Roost Tox. They're cheap, it's inexpensive. You can have that in your fishing gear, you can have that in your walking pack. Arnica, Roost Tox, you should always have when you go out walking. So
Definitely.
when you have that, you just take that dose right away and you will not have it.
You know what I do?
Same thing. Yeah, it will
Uh,
go. The blisters
It,
will not be as bad. There will still be some blisters, but then you keep every hour or so on, you take another dose until
You-
It's gone. It's usually gone within 1 or 2 days if you do it right. If you don't do anything, you will enjoy that burn and that itching for 8 to 10 days.
Gisela,
Yeah.
I get poison ivy if I look at it. Okay?
Don't
Yeah.
look.
So
Don't look
seriously,
down.
if I get it and it starts itching and I know that's what it is, I put it under the spigot,
Yeah.
hot water, and I turn the water hotter and hotter and hotter to a point. If I do it in the morning, it doesn't itch until the evening.
Uh-huh. Yes,
But if you
because
take
one
a
of
dose
the
of
main
Woodstock, it's not going
main
to really itch
symptoms.
and blister
Yeah.
anyway.
You
One of the
guys
main
you guys
symptoms
were
for
talking
for
at the
Ruth's
same time.
tox is better with heat.
Well,
Yeah.
Isn't
Yeah.
that right?
Yeah. Well, poison ivy is an insidious oil, and if you put heat on it, liquefied heat, like with hot water, you melt really that oil, and it can seep into the skin even deeper. So in
Yeah.
reality, you're not doing yourself a favor. It just seems like it, but you're not. But the fact is that what you want to do is you want to wash it off with soap and water,
oh
Yeah.
no
yeah.
matter how hot it is or
Oh
whatever.
no. I'm talking about you wash it and everything, but when it's
Yeah,
itching,
yeah,
just hot
yeah,
water and it
yeah.
takes away the itch. Yeah, I'm not saying
Yeah, because
Momentarily.
yeah, not as the first step. No. You're right. Yeah, it's
yeah,
soap
you
and
have to
water
wash
for
it
about
first.
20 minutes.
Yes.
In
Yeah.
the shower. You jump in the shower.
No, I don't because it'll get somewhere else.
Oh, really?
Well, your analogy, Amnon, is the same one as if you have a toothache, take a hammer and hit your toe. Your toothache will go away, like cures like, right?
Yeah.
Well,
It
was that
works, right?
great. Debbie, thank you so much. Would you like to come back?
Whenever
Would you
I
like
can,
to
I'll
come?
tune in on Monday at
Yes.
5 o'clock. That's when you're here, right?
That's right. That's when I'm here every Monday, 5 o'clock. I wish you success with your LASIK, and I am gone. I am off to my celebration, and I wish all of our listeners a very, very happy and safe 4th of July. And please remember that your babies, your animals, your older people even, okay? Many older people with Alzheimer's, they get very disorientated with a lot of loud noises also. So keep those in mind, and I wish you a happy and safe one. I see you next Monday. Bye for now.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. If you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it in the archives section at nissancommunications.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, and like us on Facebook. Sponsored by Telestream's Wirecast software, StreamingGear.com, Carolina Apparel, and DeltaForce.net.